Good evening, everybody. To illustrate how we can identify the overall trend of the market, which is hammer, hammer, oversold, gap up. I mean, this is just high probability results. And then a gap up through this level. So that is what makes there are 137 people waiting in the room left over from this afternoon. Check for what? All right. TB, I don't know. Yeah. A room cop. Good evening, Janie. Okay. So this is step number one. Which way is the market going? This is what is kind of the first analysis for anything that you want to do, which we can easily see the NASDAQ still staying up above the T-line and the S&P 500, just a nice steady uptrend. So that makes it easy when you know what the overall market trend is doing. Is you at least can go and scan for the best trade setups. So the one we were looking at last night, or I was looking at last night, Varna. You could see what was setting up. And anytime you see an oversold situation, you see lots of dojis, get ready for this move. Where's our first potential target? Probably right there. But that's still about a 22% upside potential. And then if it breaks out from there, you got some good running room. That's right. Social spacing. We were going to do Penn because of its breakout. However, that's not a good sign. That might mean that instead of this being a slow curve breakout, which is what we like to see, and a fry pan bottom breakout, which is also what we like to see with a doji sandwich, that instead of this being a move in this direction, it might be more of a move in this direction, which is all right. Oh, do I worry about whether it's an ADR? Not necessarily. Is that on Penn, Bill? Yeah, the could be a potential J hooks. An EB. Here's the 2+2. Just the fact that we can see the fry pan bottom. Number one. Number two, it did a doji type day right smack dab on the T-line. But more importantly, look where it opened and closed. Well above the previous day's open. That meant it gapped up. That puts you in alert that if it starts trading positive, you want to be buying it because, again, the 2+2 analysis is merely if this does a positive open after a doji, it's going to trade positive. If it trades positive, it's going to be not resisting at the 50 anymore. And if it's not resisting at the 50 anymore, it's telling us this fry pan bottom breakout is going to occur. I think after hours, I just backed off on the bid, but it was trading up in this area after hours. Okay, so this is what I call 2 plus 2. When you can see that setup conforming or confirming a pattern breakout, and you can see exactly where it's occurring, that just gives you that much more probabilities that it's you're going to be in a strong trade. Same scenario on this one. Kind of a doji day coming out of the slow curve, closing right here on the T-line area. If this opens positive tomorrow, now you got a doji sandwich breakout. So the reason we're looking for these type of moves is when the market is moving up steadily, there's lots of stocks that are going to move up steadily. What we're looking for is the stocks that are going to move in this direction. So basically, the old really want to make hay while the sun shines. So we want to pick out the best trade setups to be making money during the uptrend. So we're looking for these type of slow curve breakouts, as we're seeing in SRNE. I guess today somebody upgraded it to where they think it's going to be 24 to 30. Right now they're bidding, oh, I just saw it, bidding 2015, asking 2025, so it's up here. Anyways, but this is more to point out, when you can recognize a pattern and start seeing those gap ups, that just puts you in positions where you're in the right place at the right time with a much stronger price move potential. Instead of just something moving like this, now we're in something that has exponential movement. The probabilities are basically what we want to be looking for. What are the probabilities of being in a correct trade? We can't always calculate which ones are going to have the best percentage moves. However, if we can see kind of that cradle pattern right off the 50, up through the T-line, breaking this downtrend, what do we assume? We assume we're heading in this direction. On apps, yes, still yesterday's low or yesterday's open, because logic says if now it comes back down through there, that's pretty much telling you there's profit taking going on, because why would your alert tell you there's profit taking potentially going on? You're in the overbought area, and look how far away you are from the T-line. So just have a safety stop in place. I'm just going to go through some that were in NBR. All you have to do is stay long as that stays above the T-line. When you're in a fry pan bottom, like in Red Robin, all you have to do is stay long as it stays above the T-line. Simple was based upon this move right here, that you had a bubble breakout. Those are high probability trade setups. So the whole point of, I guess, of being able to identify which direction the market's going and which stocks have the biggest upside potential is a double whammy, in the sense that if you can dramatically improve your correct trade ratio, your compounding effect of an account is going to be tremendous. A lot of people are trying to find that big, huge move. They're trying to get in at the absolute bottom and out at the absolute top. We want to find the ones that have high probability percentage moves, because if you keep doing that over and over, the returns are extremely strong. So this one we're in because of a very simple analysis, which is you see a best friend signal kind of breaking up through this level, off the 50 through the T-line. We're in that type of price move. Remember, we did that same scenario a few weeks ago on Dix, when Dix gapped up on a best friend through that resistance level. What was the other one? Oh, here's another one. Freeport broke through this level, backed off yesterday, but look what they kind of did today, that little trend kicker signal. That would imply there's more upside. Few more. TNR, ever since the bobble breakout, 45-degree. Jake, exactly. If we know the probabilities of a positive open after a doji and improve the probabilities of being in a good uptrend based upon a breakout, if this opens positive, I'm buying immediately. Because what do you think everybody else is watching? They may not know that this is a candlestick pattern. They're just watching to see whether they can get up through the 50. If it opens positive, we already know immediately that it's probably going to trade positive, which means we're buying right here. Everybody else is buying as they see it's staying above the T line. I'm sorry, staying above the 50. Do you think RRC is too far away? No, not really. Remember, tomorrow the T-line will be up here. So too far away from the T-line is when you can see that it's exorbitantly away from the T-line. That's when you get ready to take profits. Where did I? Oh, so Zixi had been a good short. But notice what happened here today. There was your doji in the oversold area. If you were short, where was the just simple logic of where to put your stop? You put your stop at the high of the doji, because if it comes up through there in the oversold area, what's it telling you about the doji? It's confirming the bulls are taking control. Where do you think the next target's going to be? Up here to the T-line. What's the worst case scenario if you cover your short right here? If it opens and starts trading lower, you can re-short it. But it's now not a good trade. It was a good trade once they gapped it down and you held short. Now you're in an oversold area and you're starting to see buying. Go find a better probability. Is a double doji sandwich also good? Yes, it's still illustrating the same thing, Bill, that there's indecision, and then they're definitely telling you which way they're going to go. So here's a simple trade. If this opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying immediately, because what's it telling you? It's confirming your morning star signal, and it's telling you the T-line's not acting as resistance anymore. Where's your first targets? Clara, hold on to your individual requests until I tell Jim to do the double line. CDE stayed above the T-line. You just stay with it. Rollins Justin, I use TC 2000, but most scanning software, charting softwares allow you not only to identify stocks, but the different sectors. They use Morningstar sectors in TC 2000. So you can do a scan just as easily for those as you would a scan for stocks. But right now, it's a little bit more obvious that the transportation index was acting strong. So that we'll get to a lot of those stocks. Airlines, trucking stocks, shipping stocks, railroads are all working well. Now, how would we know that? Because the transportation index was telling us. I can't show it now because we're on PowerPoint, not PowerPoint, but on CQG. We'll do, if we need to, we'll do a scanning session again pretty soon. Let's see. Oh, here's some of the ones that you have to decide, is this going anywhere? ALT doesn't appear to be. So this one should have probably been closed out today because it just wasn't going anywhere. CRTO. What was this telling us? At about this level, they couldn't get through that level. Shooting star, then selling off. So what's this tell us? Unless this opens positive and trades positive, you probably want to close it out. If it opens lower, what's it telling us? The T line's not acting as support, number one. But number two, what's the trajectory? It's rolling over, not showing any great strength. LRN was another one that had the potential of breaking out, but as you can see, it did a left-right combo today. Closed right near the T line. It has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, close it out. It's not going anywhere. So a great benefit that we have with candlestick analysis that a lot of people have problem with is when do they come out of a trade? And that's part of that wrenching the ego that if we bought something, we thought it was going to go up, it's hard to say, it's not going up. The first emotional reaction is, oh man, how did I be so stupid, or what happened there? Justin, wait for, oh, they do have earnings tomorrow? I didn't know that. Wait till I tell Jim to look or do the double line. So we know some of these stocks have been acting great. We put a spread on FedEx because it was staying above the T line. That's why the T line's become very effective for me, Cheryl. Before, I made good money, and good money in my case was I wasn't losing money all the time like I was before candlesticks came along. I would get out with the idea, well, if it turns back up, I can always get back in. So things, and I say, oh man, that doesn't look good, but it hasn't closed below the T line. So I stay with it. And a high percentage of the time, like 80–90% of the time, I'm happy I've stayed with it. So Blink was another one that was having a hard time getting through this level. Now we have a bearish doji sandwich closing right on the T line. I closed this one out today with the idea that That's pretty risky to hold on to a bearish doji sandwich at the T-line. Stochastic's not going anywhere. What were the probabilities telling me on this chart? Pretty much saying that. It's not really going anywhere. Why have my money in something that's not going anywhere when I can go out and find a chart that looks like this? And that's the reason we teach everybody to do scans, because every single day, can a candle be one halfway on the T-line and still go up? You have to take a look and say, now, if the market is going up and it just barely closed below the T-line, kind of in an uptrend, I'll give it another day. But if the market has rolled over, the stock you're looking at has kind of rolled over and now closing below the T-line, probability to say, all right, it's time to close out because things don't look good in general in the market, and this one doesn't look good, whatever we would be looking at. Let's close it out and see if there's a better place. So that the one statistic that eventually dramatically improved my trading was the realization that 30% of the trades aren't going to work. It's not because the system isn't good, it's just probability. Say 30% of the trades aren't going to work. And was that, yes, PNR, overstock. Yeah, that's, so the reason I use the T-line is maybe I would have come out here thinking, oh, there's a sell signal, it could be going down prior to putting the T-line on there. And if it goes back up, I can always get back in. But what would I normally do? I would be off buying something else, and this one kept right on going instead of just hanging in there with it. Okay, the biggies, just not going anywhere. You can see Amazon's having a hard time getting through this level. Apple held out pretty good today. It came back up from trading much lower. So this is still in an uptrend. But things like NVIDIA kind of got soggy here today. Yeah, it came up better than I expected. So what's the trend? It's still in an uptrend as long as it stays or closes above the T-line. Netflix didn't. That was a decisive, let's get rid of that. That was a decisive sell below the T-line. I would have closed this one out if I had been long. Now what's it look like? Looks like it's sideways. Wouldn't be long or short. And Tesla. Which way is this heading? Yeah, it's been heading sideways. It's down toward the oversold area, so it's probably something you wouldn't want to short. So it's another one you just kind of leave alone. Does Amazon have a hammer? No. Remember where a hammer signal occurs. At the bottom of a trend. Or in the oversold area. That's just, remember, just because it's a formation doesn't necessarily mean it's a signal. All right. Oh, the short position, AUDC, ever since the kicker signal, hasn't been able to get back up above the T-line. Maxar. That's a little bit iffy. So, no, it's not a hanging man. Where does a hanging man occur? Is that in the overbought or oversold area? Or even more, even more analysis. Which direction is Amazon going right now? Obviously nowhere. I wouldn't even say down. I would say it's sideways. Do you know which way Amazon's going to go from here? Not with candlestick signals. We don't know whether it's going up, down, or sideways. So why have your money there? There's too many charts that look like this that you know the prospects of which direction the next price move will be. So where were you? Maxar. So not terrible, but which way is it going to go from here? If they open it lower, might be in a process of doing a J-hook pattern. Or it could continue to trade sideways, waiting for the T-line to catch up. So I closed out half this position today and ready to move one way or the other based upon how it opens. How do you differentiate from a, well, that's a downtrend. You can see that it's heading down. Which direction is Amazon going? I mean, just visually, you can see it's not going anywhere. It's just sideways. That's an uptrend. Whoops. Yeah, I guess it hasn't had any downtrends. Okay, so the ones that have the best probabilities, again, ADS. If this opens positive tomorrow, what pattern is it coming out of? A fry pan bottom, either this fry pan bottom or this fry pan bottom. If it opens positive, what's it tell us about our breakout? The 50 is not acting as breakout anymore. Isn't that a bearish harami? Kenneth, is that a bearish harami? Yep, that's Maxar. What is that signal? What does a harami do? Or what does a harami look like? It could be a bearish left-right combo and a shooting star type signal. So you've got a doji shooting star, but you're still trading above the 3T line. Closed out half the position. Where would I close out the other half of position? Probably if it came down through the low of the doji. That would tell me they're selling it off. All right. Okay, so back to this one. 2 plus 2. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying immediately because you got a fry pan bottom breakout through the 50 with a doji sandwich. Everything going in your favor. A lot of people are looking at ICPT today. Another fry pan bottom breakout. Big gap area. Where's your first likely target? Up here. If it goes through there, where's your next likely target? Fill in the gap. But what's this kind of imply? That you should be looking more for strategies on the bullish side, which could be buying calls, could buy in the stocks, adding calls to augment the position, doing spreads. So the benefit we have is if we know what a strong pattern breakout looks like, now we can put all sorts of strategies on that will minimize our risk but allow us to maximize our potential. Same scenario on Dave and Buster's. kind of a fry pan bottom, and then they gapped up through the resistance level. One that I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading tomorrow. I got a bunch of these. A lot of people have been asking about Acre. There's your kind of your doji sandwich, your Morningstar signal, a McMuffin type pattern. Somebody was asking whether this is a McMuffin. Not a real strong McMuffin, but the fact that they're doing a McMuffin type identifiable pattern and they're curling this way, what did it tell you about this area? If it came through there, it was breaking out. What's that imply? Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. The bearish Harami has a big green candle. Let me see if I can. There's a bearish Harami. Big green candle followed by something that opens and closes inside the open and close of that previous day. Kenneth, that should be your first lesson, or the first learning, is learning the 12 major signals. That's your bread and butter for being able to identify the effectiveness of the signals confirming the patterns. XOP, the oil and gas ETF, there's your fry pan bottom, bobble breakout. Where's your next likely target if they broke through the 50? Possibly up here to the 200. Whoever writes this stuff has terrible handwriting. CPS, another bobble breakout, fry pan bottom. Where's your next target? Defend. For some reason, Defend does not come up over here. But stocks in that sector, like TGI, there's kind of your doji sandwich setup, fry pan bottom. That's why Defend is working well. Here's another fry pan bottom. Now, the reason I'm pointing out fry pan bottoms is two factors. One, the probabilities of going in this direction are extremely strong. And two, the magnitude of this move will be extremely strong. That's why we look for the fry pan bottom breakouts, because they're going to produce very good high profit trade setups. So when they break out through an obvious resistance level, kind of a doji sandwich, breakout, what can we assume? There's a lot of upside potential to this one. Let me make this smaller. So you can see you got pretty much a big fry pan bottom with kind of an inverted dimple. But here's a fry pan bottom right here. What's this imply? Another strong move. You can't estimate how much upside of potential a fry pan will have. You just stay long until you see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. I'll try to find a bobble breakout for you somewhere. Oh, let's see. Did this wrong. That must be in the next category. It is. So there's your J-hook pattern. Wave 1, J-hook. Now, the difference between wave 1 and wave 3 on a very clear J-hook pattern is a lot of times your trajectory is like this. Then you do a J-hook and your trajectory is more like this. Lots of new force that comes in. Michelle, I've only got one trading strategy. If I see a buy, and I've already split up my account into 10 equal positions. So that means if I've got a $500,000 account or a $100,000 account, I decide beforehand I'm going to have 10 positions on. If it's a $100,000 account, each position obviously is $10,000. The reason for that is I'm trying to keep everything out of my trading that involves emotions. So logic tells us that if I've got one position in my portfolio that's 22,000 and a few that are 8,000 and one that's 5,000 and one that's 3,000, where do you think I'm going to spend 90% of my time watching? I'm going to watch the 22,000 and probably pay less attention and give less scrutiny to the 5,000 and the $3,000 position. If I keep them all the same dollar amount, each one of them is going to have an effect on the returns of my portfolio. So I'm going to give them equal value or equal amount of analysis every night. And when I'm ready to buy or sell a position, it's now a unit of my portfolio, not my favorite position that I put on. Clara, please hold on to your individual ones until I tell Jim to do the double line. Bob, if I'm doing 10 positions and I want to trade stocks and options, maybe I have 9 $10,000 positions and $10,000 of option trading. And I might have 3 positions of options on. So now I'm at 12, which isn't anything outlandish. But they're all, again, all equal dollar amount. So that's how I kind of segregate it. Is NS, I'll take a gander. Yeah, kind of a bobble breakout, continuing this uptrend. Let me see. I had that written down somewhere. All right, let's go to the J-hooks. There's a J-hook scoop type pattern. Notice the magnitude of that spinning top, then you're bullish engulfing. This one can be bought with the expectation that this is wave 1, wave 3 is going to take you up here somewhere. It'll cool. That's up to each individual. Some people are nervous about trading with margins. I trade with as much leverage as I can get my hands on because I know that every time I put on the trade, the probabilities are in my favor I'm going to make money. So I want to leverage it as much as possible. There's a J-hook type pattern on FireEye. This one still probably has more upside. PEIX. Look at your morning star signal. This is what we call the classic pattern. Fry pan bottom. What's the expectation of a fry pan bottom? A strong price move. What's the prerequisite for a J-hook pattern? A strong price move. Then you see a consolidation. And here's the advantage of using the T-line. Look where they consolidated to. Right smack dab to the T-line. And for those that haven't heard me say it dozens of times, the reason that's relevant is because it's moved back to the T-line that we recognize as a natural support and resistance level of human nature. Statistically, nobody has the T-line on their charts, which means when they come back to this level, it's not because everybody's watching it come back to a level that might act as support because they don't have this on their chart. This is just a natural support and resistance level of human nature that we can recognize. So there's your J-hook pattern. What's the expectation of this move? Same as this move right here. Where did I go? HSC. Another J-hook pattern. Kind of bobbed off the 34 and the 200, bullish engulfing. Wave 1, look for wave 3 to the upside. MTA, J-hook pattern. Classic, fry pan bottom. Notice that's your bullish harami, doji. Gap up. What's your next price move? If this was $6, $5, look for this to go up to about the $14 or $15 range. And WPX, that's kind of a bobble breakout. It came up, they failed at the 50, pulled back to the T-line, and then went through the 50 again. What do we got? If we took the 50 out of there, essentially we've got a J-hook pattern. A bobble breakout is just a more definable J-hook pattern where you can see that it used the T-line as for the 50 or whatever moving average it ran into as resistance. And then when it came back up the second time, yeah, we got kind of a J-hook pattern, fry pan bottom breakout. That's on FANG. Okay, so this one, there's your best friend breakout. There's your best friend breakout. The airlines, part of the transportation index. That's a very strong chart on Spirit Airlines, SAVE, breaking out with a little gap up. We knew that American, if it opened positive, there was your double doji setup. Look here, doji, 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 inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. Now they've broken out through the resistance level. There's a gap right here to fill, and it could go even further. United Airlines, want to get a little bit bigger. Double doji breakout. Uh-oh. I didn't scroll down. You have both shorts and longs at all times. I will, Jerry. If I have 10 positions on, maybe only have 1 or 2 shorts on, because if we're analyzing that the market was heading up or is heading up, yeah, I want to go with the flow, but I want to have a few safety valves. There's always going to be short positions that are working. Usually it's because of a strong signal, like a bearish kicker signal. Do you have a YouTube that is accurate on trading a short that I can review? Do you have a YouTube that is accurate? I don't know what that means, Cheryl. Jake, no, I don't care. I shouldn't say that. I'm making my basis on the probabilities of making money, but then finding a place where it tells me that this didn't work. So let's say I was buying right here because of a breakout. I might have my stop right here. Now that might be a significant percentage loss. But the other side of the coin is the probabilities of going in this direction are extremely high. Just wondering who created the T-line. The T-line is just the 8 exponential moving average. And it came... Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, it came from one of my first private training students, Rick Sadler, who came down from, I think, Anchorage, Alaska. We sat in front of the computers for 3 days in Houston, and he was greatly intrigued with candlesticks. And he was constantly researching. And about 6-8 weeks after he came down, he called me and said, hey, put the 8 exponential moving average on your chart, because it seems to work as a good support and resistance level. Now, the nice thing about candlestick analysis is we know the signals work, or we wouldn't be looking at them hundreds of years later. Anything we can add to our chart that enhances returns, you can stick on there. If they work, you keep it there. If it doesn't work, you take it back off. You can see how simple these charts are. So anyways, and for a good while, Rick was a moderator in my room. He would take over when I would come off, and then he set up his own website to do more of a kind of a scalping trading using candlesticks. Let's see, where was I? Too late for the airlines? No, the airlines just started. They're just breaking out of patterns. So the T-line was just named the T-line, short for trigger line. We couldn't figure out a name, so we just called it the T-line to keep it short. All right, so ALK, another airline. Look at your dojis, inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. Where's your next likely target? Could get up here to the 50 or 200-day moving average. Lee, I think we did do Blink already. Blink closed right on the T-line, and it doesn't look good. I closed out a good portion of this position because there's a bearish doji sandwich. Stochastic's heading down. It closed right on the T-line. We don't know whether it's going to go this way, or this way. So without any probability factor that we can visually recognize, take that money and go find something that looks more like this. Okay. There was that breakout on Freeport. Okay. Some of the trucking stocks. You can see what's happened to DSK over the last few days. I haven't checked out trucking stocks yet tonight. Gould isn't doing anything. Let's see if Pro's moving up nicely. Southwest Airlines. Yes, another one. You get your left-right combo, Morningstar signal, doji sandwich, McMuffin. You can buy this one. If I was buying this one tomorrow, I wouldn't want to see it close back below the 50. I was going to recommend Parts because it's doing a J-hook, except it's trading up here after hours, so they must have reported. The casino stocks seem to be acting well. They're breaking out. Again, left-right combo, stayed above the T-line, Wynn Resorts. Look at your doji gap up. If this opens positive, what's that telling us about the 50? It's not acting as resistance anymore. Did we do Dave and Buster's? We did, I thought. Yeah, way up there. So there's your fry pan bottom breakout. There's a lot of REITs that are working. This is one of them. GTX. Look at all your indecision right here on the 50. Stochastic's coming up. Where do you think your next target is? This is what a set of traders trade. They trade the trends. So if you do kind of a parallel line down here, where's your next likely target? Back up here. Why is this beneficial for trading channels? Because we can see where the buying has come in, making that a high probability trade setup. And that was the reason for our recommendation on GRAF, right smack dab on the 50, starting back up, broke this downtrend. All right, thank you, Barbara. All right, have a few more here. TPCI, also kind of a J-hook pattern, but here's that why you want to know each one of your signals. Remember what a belt hold signal illustrates. Pretty much has taken out a lot of sellers, which means any continuation is less sellers, but this move is probably going to be a little bit stronger than what it was before. Did we do LPI? There's another little breakout. Let's make this big enough where we can see it. That's kind of your bobble breakout. BCEI, there's your J-hook pattern. Where did it break out? Not only did it break out, so this is the that added piece of evidence. But if they're gapping up right at a breakout level, what does that tell you? Is there concern about the breakout level? It's not there. That's going to be usually a very strong price move. And NK, where is this bottoming out? Right smack dab on a Morningstar signal with the 50-day moving average. If this opens positive, what's the two pieces of information you get instantly? One, it's confirming the Morningstar signal, and two, it's telling you the T-line is not acting as resistance. Look for the next wave to the upside. AGTC, there's your basing. Doji, doji, doji. That one's probably got some upside potential to it. You could call it a cup and handle if you wanted to. I usually call this a classic, kind of coming out of a fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. Doesn't matter what you call it. All you have to do is recognize what that pattern is doing. And this is your double doji. Anytime you see this, if they open up positive, you buy immediately because the magnitude of this move right here is usually the same as this right here. Did I do this one? I don't see that I have it written down, but this one is a good bobble breakout. Failed at the 50, pulled right back to the T-line. Look at your left-right combo. Remember, the left-right combo is one of your strongest reversal signals. Now you've got the bobble breakout and kind of a fry pan bottom. That's likely to have much more upside. Okay, that's about all I've got for tonight. So are there any general questions on candlesticks? If not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. Is the chart. Oh boy. All right. In 3.6 seconds, do the next double line. Is the chart. Is that the beginning of a sentence? Bristol Myers. Not anything dynamic. And you watch to see what happens up here at the top of this kind of channel. But right now, if you're long, you stay long. I wouldn't necessarily be a buyer of Bristol-Myers because it's an institutional trader, so it doesn't move around very much. Complex, nothing real dynamic there either. It's a slow uptrend. You still have to break through this level. So if you're buying it, you just have to make sure it breaks out through there. Rider, you can be buying this one also. Not a real dynamic chart, but kind of a trend channel. So at least you expect your upside potential to be in this area. Warner, same scenario. These are all kind of trend channels. So you can pretty much calculate where your upside is, which means if you can calculate what your upside is, maybe instead of buying calls, you buy a spread. Be a little bit more effective. ANTM, slow uptrend. You can stay long on this one. APLE, that's a nice fry pan bottom. Another one you could be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Oh. And ENST, notice where the uptrend started. Right here with your best friend signal. Slow uptrend, but you just stay long on this one. SBGL, did I do that wrong? SBGI. Another very slow uptrend, kind of a doji sandwich. You can be buying this one, but you want to see it break the top of that trend channel. LPLA, another fry pan bottom, but it ran into trouble today, so it needs to stay above the T-line to stay in it. EBS had a good chart. With your left-right combo, J-hook pattern. So where was your profit taking? If this is wave 1, about the same magnitude as wave 3, now you watch to see if there's a J-hook pattern. So using the doji rule, you watch to see how this one opens tomorrow. If it opens lower, you take your profits. Silver, still in an uptrend. Gold, consolidating a little bit. And CARV, another fry pan bottom setting up. I don't know where all these things came from. You can be buying this one on positive trading. And positive trading is basically not seeing the markets open up, or the Dow opening up down 140 points, but the market's still moving in the same direction, and that stock is opening positive. ORBC, a J-hook type pattern, cup and handle type pattern. You can buy this one on strength. And tech, good chart, stay long. XLF, stay long, especially if it opens positive tomorrow, giving you a bullish doji sandwich. That means your next target will be the 200. That one you stay long, looking for the 200. Citigroup, another one. It's not very exciting, but it's moving in the right direction. Boeing had some strength in it. You can see how they did a doji sandwich, the double doji. If this opens positive tomorrow, breaking this downtrend, you can be buying this one. Roku, there was your bearish best friend. You stay short until you see a buy signal. Stay short on this one, OKTA. Look at your hanging man, doji, tried to take it up, did a bearish engulfing. When they opened it below the T line, that told you this was failing at this level. Now they're selling it off. IMUX, J-hook, stay, or you can go long on this one. Occidental, you can get ready to buy. It still needs to break this downtrend, so it needs to see some more strength. That's a J-hook patterns type setup. Look at your bullish Harami. Telling you the selling has stopped. Almost, it looked like it bounced right off the 50. I'd be a buyer of this one if they break this downtrending channel. Copa Airlines. Another one I'd be ready to buy if this opens positive tomorrow. Good chart. TGI we did. That one you can get ready to buy. That's what's making these type of stocks are what making defend acting well. Barna still would be a buyer of this one. First target is right here, and then all the way up in this area somewhere. Clorox for a short? No, not until you see something that really breaks the trend. If you're shorting it, you don't want to see it close back up. It wouldn't, let's put it this way. It's in a trend. It's had 1 day below the T line. I'd give it more time to see whether this was just a profit-taking day from an institution or whether there's been a change of investor sentiment. The Russell, you stay long. Is the chart on run? Is there still more to that sentence, Phil? They announced earnings, and it's trading right about here. Went down here, now it's back up here. Let me see where it is right now. It closed at 47.28. Right now they're back up to 47, asking 47.10. So it's right in here. ExxonMobil. It's not an exciting stock, but if you're long, you can stay long. Wouldn't necessarily be buying this one. Does the doji form in gold? Is that gold as in Barrick's gold, or is in gold itself? That would be lower open. I would suspect they're going to at least come back and test the T line, and then see what it does from there. Sam Adams, that one I would have closed out today. Shooting star, doji, bearish confirmation, now confirmation that you're below the T line. You can see the trajectory. It's gone the wrong way. Dow is in Dow Chemical. That's a good chart. Again, not real exciting, but it's headed in the right direction, breaking out through this level. Kind of a bobble breakout situation. Wynn Resorts, another one you buy as soon as it, if it opens above the T line tomorrow. Starbucks, not an exciting stock to trade, but it's right now in an uptrend. I would think that the next target is the 200, the top of the trend channel. Big Lots, Stay long on this one. Kind of your double doji breakout. You just stay long until you see a sell signal. And Cassie, be careful. You're up here. You had a long-legged doji in the overbought area, right about the same level it topped out before. So you use the doji rule. It has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, they're having trouble going through that resistance level. Might find a better place. AMCX. Not anything to get excited about. I probably wouldn't be trading this one at all. Just no great direction to it, or any great signal. FLGT, that one you stay long. There was your doji setup, but it needed to open positive and trade positive. If it had opened lower, it was coming back to the T line. MLCO. Another breakout with a best friend gap up through the 200, stay long. Use the 200 as your safety stop. OMC, setting up, but you can see your sideways, your trend channel. It has to get up through the 50 to even start looking at it. MCRB, this one you watch. If it opens positive, you can start trading it off a 45 degree. If it opens positive, I immediately put my stop at the open today. Phil, what do we got going on here? We'll do a few of them. There's a kind of a J-hook pattern setup on this one, SVM. Cliffs. Probably wouldn't do anything with this now until it gets through the 200. And pump. Stay long on this one. Morgan Stanley. You can buy this one on positive trading, the doji sandwich. And if the big financials are trading positive, that means the market is staying strong. Plug. Ever since the kicker signal, then kind of the gap out here, you stay long on this. You're in the overbought area. I'd have a safety stop at today's low. Tyson was up today, even though they're being sued by a family that lost 4 people working for them. It got the virus. J-hook type pattern. You can still buy this one. We did Varna. Varna, you can still buy this one. Nikola after hours, I don't know. Let's see. I don't have it over here where I can see it. Twitter. Twitter, nothing yet. Tried to do a fry pan bottom, but that was not a good day. Right now, I'd be someplace else. PACB has to open positive. If I was long, I'd have a safety stop at below today's low. IZ, another one that's not doing anything real great, but you watch for a J-hook pattern. VTGN, there's a J-hook pattern. And net, I should have looked at this one. when you see that type of signal where they took it up big and then closed it below the T-line, get ready to short it. That means they ran out of steam. So that one you can be short. Over here, I thought it was pretty clever when we said this chart is so good that you probably should sell all your other stocks and just buy this one, but that way you would have nothing but net. Run, I closed out a third of the position today because it was up somewhat, but it wasn't real decisive. Had it closed right on the high, that would have been more convincing. So I closed out a third, kept 2/3, and now hoping that whatever the news was, that they would, after consolidating earlier today, that they'll open up positive tomorrow. Kendai, all you can do is stay long as it stays above the T line. We did Citigroup. Bank of America, you can be buying this one, fry pan bottom, just not an exciting stock, but you can do a spread on that one. Very needs to get up above the 200, I'm sorry, the 50, except you're starting to run out of steam. So if it doesn't get up through the 200, you keep your safety stop there at the T line. It's probably not the best chart right now. The cruise lines are acting better. If you want to buy this one, Carnival, you just have to wait to see what it does once it gets to the 50. Kind of the same scenario on Norwegian. I would suspect they're going to the 50. Sohu, you could short this one. Kind of a bearish flutter kicker signal. JNUG. I'd be out of it right now. I wouldn't be long or short. Just not any good direction. In the daily recommendations, how do you select the entry point? Seems to be between the high. Just usually I look at something that is not just a pop open, that they would have to have opened it and started trading positive a little bit. So on this one, wouldn't want to see them open it right here. I just picked a spot that says, all right, they are definitely buying. So it's not anything real scientific. I just want to look and say, especially when everybody's looking at it from different points of view as far as the type of trading they're doing, I'm just trying to point out that it should be trading positive, but not just a positive open that maybe small volume had popped it up a little bit. MGM, this one, if I had been long and it hit the 200 that quickly, I would immediately go on to the 10-minute chart to take some profits. And we did silver. Oh, that's silver. This is silver for September. Still on a slow uptrend, or a steady uptrend. CA, that's not coming up over here. Oh, Caterpillar. All right. Caterpillar's got a good strong chart. And it's right here at that breakout level. So you've got a little best friend type gap up, a hammer gap up. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Yeah, okay. That's MRC, you can buy this one on strength. And BXMT, this one's getting a little bit dicey. This one, if it opened lower, I would close it out. Even though it hasn't closed below the T-line, you can see how indecisive it's getting up here in the overbought area. That's not a good place to be sitting. So if it doesn't do anything dramatic tomorrow, I'd close it and go find something that has better prospects to it. We did Tyson. Whoops. WORX. Okay, there's not enough there to make any evaluation. Jake, that's what we do in our scanning. That's why you want to learn, first of all, the signals and patterns, and then you might want to learn the top rank signals and patterns, which is a combination. Those are things like your best friend, the left-right combo, the kicker signal, a bobble breakout, things that have higher prospects or higher probabilities, so that if you find 20 good-looking charts, you can start narrowing it down to the 1 or 2 or 3 that you want to trade the next day. And that's why when we do our training sessions in the top rank, out of the 18 top rank signals and patterns, they're all good. It's not that number 1 is good and number 18 is not good. They're all good. But what it allows you to do is say, well, I recognize the kicker signal, or I recognize a bobble breakout, so I'm going to just concentrate on 3 or 4, because if I become an expert at 3 or 4, then I don't have to have any doubts about what I'm doing, because I know exactly where they should open, what they should do, when to get out. I don't have to listen to anybody else's recommendations or worry about what the market is doing, because the chart will tell me what to do. BXC. Stay long. I would probably put a stop below yesterday's or Friday's open and close. Shouldn't come back down through that level. AUY, that one you should be out of. Probably wouldn't be short, but I wouldn't be long. Notice your left-right combo right about the same level it topped out before. And I say notice, anytime you start seeing sell signals where they were doing sell signals before, just kind of take the hint. That's where the level that people start selling. This one you should be out of. GPL. That one you can stay in. If I was long, I'd have a safety stop right here at today's open, because if they came back down through there, notice how every time they've opened it up, they've sold it off. Obviously, that's showing a little bit of weakness. Square, another one. Here was the warning. When they gapped it up and sold it off, you really haven't had any buying since then. I would have closed it out today. Or it has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. Ross Stores, that one you can buy. Broke out today. Mesa. A little slow curve fry pan bottom. Another one you can buy on positive trading tomorrow. PPC, kind of the same scenario. You can buy it. It's breaking this downtrend. Just make sure it gets through these moving averages. D-Dog, stay short. Boy, I'd stay short. Stochastic's still heading down. We did Acre. JB, weren't you sitting in here watching us do this? Into wave 3. And we did Sohu. You can go short on this one. Okay, Nicola down a little bit. All right, I can do this. NKLA. It's at 43.45, 43.49, closed at 44.81. And AIKI, you can be buying this one as long as it stays above the T line. PACB has to open positive. I have my safety stop. Possible doji sandwich, but usually on a big move like that, since it's a breakout, you could get a doji sandwich, but I would suspect more of a 45 degree. SY or SVM, stay long. You can buy this one on positive trading. TRVN, no. You're above the T line, you're in an uptrend, wouldn't be shorting it. And first of all, I doubt if you could short it. Most brokerage firms will not short stock that are trading below $5. And EAT, as you can see, it's right here at the 200. If this opened lower tomorrow and I was long, I'd close it out because that would have told me they did fail at the T line or at the 200. J-hook pattern setup. If you're ready to buy this one, you get ready to buy if it comes back up through today's open, which is the higher end. Would you consider an ETF with many airlines, or would you prefer to choose one or two that might recover help? Maria, that's based upon somebody's risk-reward nature. If you buy an ETF, you don't have to worry about one airline getting hit, and you happen to pick that one. You've spread your risk over a number of stocks, which that ETF should be telling you what the whole industry or the whole sector is doing. Whoops. NMRK, fry pan bottom. Be ready to buy this on positive trading. Tyson Food is SN or TSN. Doing a J-hook pattern. BES, I look to see what they do going into the close. If they're selling it off going into the close, that's usually indicating the people that know what's going on are getting rid of it right before earnings. If they're buying going into the close with a lot of strength, that means somebody that's following that company is making their decisions to be buying, knowing the earnings are coming out. If it's kind of wishy-washy, I close it out because that way it's telling us that people don't know which way the earnings are. So if you're sitting there with a risk factor that has nothing to do with what the candlestick signals are telling you, yeah, close it out and save that money to go find another chart that looks better. What did we just do? Riot, still in an uptrend. Square, you could go short on weakness. BABA, stay short. And have we gotten to the end? No. A few more. STRA. If you were short, I would have covered the short, but I wouldn't be going long. NIO, you can stay long on this fry pan bottom. AMLP, you can buy that fry pan bottom on positive trading. NMIH, another fry pan bottom you could be buying. Abbott, not real exciting, and right now I'd be out of it. I wouldn't be long or short this one. Okay. All right. Market is still doing a wave coming out of this wedge pattern. Maybe we have another strong move like this. This acts like a consolidation stage. Now that's new energy. And the NASDAQ backing and filling, but still staying above the T-line. Okay, so with that, everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. We'll see you then.